Hello, everyone. Welcome in today. We're going to do our post combine mock draft. And today we're going to start off pretty standard, honestly. There's no one else I see going at number one overall. It's Caleb Williams. The Bears have made it pretty clear that that's the direction they're going to go, and I don't blame them at all. I think it's the right choice. At number two, for me, it's Drake May all day, crystal clear, no questions asked. I think he's the best player in this situation. I personally think he's a lot closer to Caleb than Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels. That's not a knock. I think he's a good player. I just think he's a little bit more of the 10 to 15 range in value. I think Drake May is more on the higher end. Jaden Daniels, I have some questions about. However, for the New England Patriots, in this situation, they need a quarterback. If I was doing trades, I think they might consider trading back and letting somebody else take Jaden Daniels. We'll have to see, though, especially with the weird reports that he didn't want to play there. He came out and debunked them, but that leads to questions, honestly. So next up at number four is the Arizona Cardinals. This is where the draft could get interesting, but I still see Marvin Harrison going above Malik Neighbors. There are questions, though. Harrison not wanting to do the pro day or the combines, kind of weird. I don't really fully understand it. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. At pick five, the Chargers are on the clock. Now, I could see the Chargers trading back here. I could see them taking a receiver, but I could see them taking O-line. I could see them even going defense, possibly. We'll have to see. They have a lot of moves still to make. They cut Eric Kendricks, so that starts their reduction that they have to do. But I'm going to give them Malik Neighbors. At pick six, the New York Giants are on the clock. And for the Giants, in this situation without a quarterback being here, I personally think they go Roma Dunze. They need a playmaker. If you're going to keep Daniel Jones at quarterback, it's what you have to do. At pick seven, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock, and they are probably going to go with Joe Alt in this situation. If a playmaker made it there, their GM made it clear that they would consider a playmaker if they thought they were better, they needed speed. So I don't really know. At pick eight, the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock, and they badly need a quarterback. And I don't know that they're going to go the veteran route, but if they do, I could see them guys going ahead and taking top defensive player off of the board. And I know this is a little crazy, but I'm going to give them CB Quinyon Mitchell. Maybe it's not the pick that everybody thinks. I know people like edge for them, and they do need edge. I've personally done that. And I know they could use Terry and Arnold as well, but I'm going to go Quinyon. He's probably CB1 after the testing. I've been leaning that way. It's just a hard decision to make. So at pick nine, the Chicago Bears are on the clock. And the Bears are happy with how this board fell, I think. They're going to go ahead and just take Dallas Turner, get a bendy edge to pair up with Montez Sweat. Jared Verse might be a better fit, but I think Turner's awesome. At pick 10, the New York Jets are on the clock, and they need a tackle. Olu Fashanu's there. They're going to take Olu. At pick 11, the Minnesota Vikings are up, and they certainly seem like they're not going to take and bring back Kirk Cousins. They would like to, but it just kind of leans right now like the reports are it's not going to happen. So they're going to take J.J. McCarthy. They kind of have to. If they don't have a quarterback, your best bet's to draft one. I don't think they are going to be able to complete a trade for Justin Fields, and I don't see Russ Wilson working there or being the proper choice to go long term with him anyway. So at 12, Denver's on the board, and honestly, they need a quarterback. They cut Russell Wilson and took the largest dead cap hit in NFL history. But the problem is, I don't know that Bo Nix or Michael Penix are worth a pick at number 12. I don't feel that way about them, and I just don't think Denver's going to reach that much for a quarterback. They might circle back late in round one or in round two, maybe, and take a chance on them and pair them up with Jarrett Stidham, who they started to end last season at the end of last season. So I'm not sure, but I think in this situation, they're going to go ahead and take Terry and Arnold, who's on the board. He's a good corner. He's was my CB1, but I think coming out of the combine, I've been close. I've been big on Quinyon Mitchell, and I think Mitchell passed him, so he's now CB2 for me. It's close, though. At pick 13, the Raiders are on the clock. Now, the Raiders need a lot of help, in my opinion. Their defense is pretty bad, and if you look at like the CB position where I think they need a ton of help, I'm not sure that Nate Wiggins go this quite this high. That weight is going to be a concern, and I have some questions about that. And Cooper DeJean coming back from that injury, there's questions. I don't think Kool-Aid goes this high. So now you go back to the all board and you just go, okay, what can they use? Well, personally, I think they need interior D-line help. I'm going to give them Byron Murphy and let him develop him. So at 14, Minnesota's on the clock. Or at pick 14, New Orleans is on the clock. And I do believe the Saints tend to like pocket pushers a little bit more. And I think they could use help at edge. However, I'm going to give him Talise Fuaga. There's questions about whether Ryan Ramczak's going to be able to return, and I think Fuaga could play guard if you needed him to, or he could maybe even play left tackle over Trevor Penning and move Penning into guard or something if you need him to. I just think Fuaga's a great pick at number 14. So at 15, the Colts are on the board here. And for the Colts, I'm going to give them Brian Thomas Jr. I think they need receiver help. They kept Pittman on the tag, but I think they still need to continue to build out that room. It just isn't strong enough right now. At pick 16, Seattle's on the clock. Now, Seattle is an interesting team. I think they're going to go Jared Verse if he's still here. He's a fantastic pick. Honestly, I'm not sure he lasts this long, but he could. He tested really well, so I'm not 100% sure that he'll last this long. At pick 17, Jacksonville is up. Now, the Jaguars, they could use a lot of help here, but I don't think they need tackles like they suggest on here. I'm not 100%, or no, sorry, that's CB. I'm not sure Nate Wiggins is their type of guy, though. I'm going to go edge, even though they tagged Josh Allen, and I'm going to give him layout 2, lot 2. They just, a technician, and Allen's only on a 1-year deal, and really, you need about 3 pass rushers anyway, in my opinion. So at number 18, Cincinnati's up. Brock Bowers is the pick. I don't think he lasts this long, but I have a hard time picking him higher. I just don't see the value there in a tight end. You know, people who are smarter than me have pointed out the cap implications of taking a tight end too high in the draft. Like, you don't get any reward. You're paying him like a top tight end in the league already, and that's just not a good idea and not good decision making. So at pick number 19, the Rams are up on the clock here. The Rams kind of are in an interesting situation. They could get a premier tackle because Amarius Mims tested really good. And I think that's what they're going to do in this situation. I'm not as high on Mims, but the testing on him is just incredible. So I think teams are really going to like him. At pick 20, Pittsburgh's up on the clock. And they need CB help, but I don't think Wiggins is their type, truthfully. I think J.C. Latham could be a good pick for them. But I'm going to give him a versatile DB and Cooper DeJean. I almost changed my mind there, but I'm going to give him Cooper DeJean at pick 20. I think he's versatile. I think he'll pair well with Minka Fitzpatrick, and he could play on the outside. He could play in the slot. I think he's just such a good football player. So at pick 21, Miami Dolphins are up on the clock here. And for Miami, I think interior O-line is honestly probably their biggest position in need. Between center and guard, they didn't tag Connor Williams. I think Jackson Powers Johnson makes the most sense for them at pick 21. So at pick 22, Philly's up on the board here. And for Philly, they typically go tackle or edge. Well, and I don't think they need interior, so I don't see Jerzon Newton here. I could see a guy like Chop Robinson, who had a great combine, maybe moving up. He's not quite as high on my list, but they took an edge in the first round last year. So I'm going to have him swing back and take J.C. Latham. With the retirement of Jason Kelce, they look like they're set at tackle, but you have to look at the right tackle position long term, and the Eagles have done a good job of that. They have a successor in place for Jason Kelce at center. So I think they might do the same thing and take the same approach with Lane Johnson at right tackle. So at pick 23, the Houston Texans are up on the clock. I personally would love to see Houston go out there and get another receiver. So I'm going to give him A.D. Mitchell. I think he is a fantastic player. He didn't do quite as well at the combine. He tested well, but he didn't run like the gauntlet and stuff so well. So we'll have to see. I personally still think he's a fantastic player. At pick 24, Dallas is up on the board here. I think Dallas needs tackle, and I think Troy Fontenot showed he can play tackle. So I'm going to give him Troy Fontenot here at pick 24. At pick 25, Green Bay's up. Now, the Packers are an interesting team. I think they could use a corner, but I just struggle with Nate Wiggins. That size scares me. I could see him maybe going after a Chop Robinson. I think defense is going to be big for the Packers. They have a young core on offense. I'm debating changing my mind from my initial pick here. You know what? I'm not. I'm going to stick to it. This is where I had Nate Wiggins go. I'm going to give Nate Wiggins to the Green Bay Packers. And maybe replace Jair Alexander, who had that weird ending to the season. So there's some questions there about him. At pick 26, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up on the clock. And the Bucks are definitely in need of edge, and I'm going to give him Chop Robinson. I'm not sure he lasts this long, but I'm just not quite as high on him, which is also why I'm not the biggest fan of him going to the Bucks. But if he's there, the Bucks are going to take him. At pick 27, the Arizona Cardinals are up, and they're going to take Johnny Newton. I can't say a whole lot's changed there. I think that he's a really good player, but he had shorter arms, which is why I'm more comfortable pushing him down the board. I wasn't very comfortable doing it earlier because I'm high on him. I just think with the short arms, there's going to be serious questions there, and it really matters at D-line. And it truthfully matters at any position on the front seven in defense. So at pick 28, the Buffalo Bills are on the clock. Now the Bills, I'm going to take a swing here. I don't see Keon Coleman going this high, and I'm not sure Xavier Worthy goes this high. And definitely not Troy Franklin. He's fallen. Ladd McConkey's been really good. I'm not comfortable making this decision because I don't think Worthy's worth a first-round pick, but I'm giving him Xavier Worthy based on that combine. He's probably more of still a round 2 pick, probably early round 2 for me. I'm still worried about his size. He's thin, and that matters to me. In the NFL, it's a grown man's game, so I question that. I'm glad he ran fast, but really everybody knew he was going to run fast. That's the thing about it. He's a fantastic player, though. He's still a little raw, but I'm going to give him to the Bills and pair that speed with Josh Allen's arm, and oh man, my New England Patriots are going to be screwed for years to come. Detroit's up on the clock here at pick 29, and they love football players. That's kind of Detroit's thing. You know, they don't always pick people that you would think. They're going to take people that are football players and they think can impact their team in a positive way and have the right attitude and the right work ethic. So I'm going to give them Graham Barton. He can play interior. Some people think he can play center, so you could have him with Ragnow. But you look at guard, Jonah Jackson's going to be a free agent. And you don't know if he's going to be returning. So that's why I'm going to go with Graham Barton here. At pick 30, the Baltimore Ravens are up on the clock. Now, the Ravens are an interesting team. I think they could use corner help. I think they could use help at receiver. And I even personally think they could use help at tackle because I'm not sure about Ronnie Stanley. And that's why I'm going to give him Tyler Guyton. I don't know that he goes this late, but he's still here. Guyton's going to go to Baltimore. At pick 31, the San Francisco 49ers are up on the clock. Now, the Niners probably don't love the way this board fell. But since I'm not a big Kool-Aid McKinstry guy, I'm going to take a chance and not take him. I'm going to go Ennis Rakestraw. I've watched a little bit of him. I hadn't watched much. I've watched not even a full game yet. But he's pretty interesting, truthfully. And I don't know that he's round 1 based on what I've seen, but I'm going to put him over Kool-Aid. I'm just not high on Kool-Aid McKinstry. So at pick 32, Kansas City's up. I think they need a receiver. And it's a pairing that nobody wants to see, but it's going to be Ladd McConkey finishing out this mock draft and going to the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's going to be the end of this mock draft. I accidentally clicked through so we don't get the recap. But you guys can go back and look. Tell me what you guys think below. I think it's an interesting mock draft. I didn't shake up a whole lot based on the combine. Truthfully, I don't think the combine makes a big difference. Xavier Worthy moving up into the first round is like the big one that I took away from that. The Terrion Arnold and not Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quinyon Mitchell swap isn't that big for me because they were very close. I've said it in every one. I'm a big Quinyon Mitchell fan, and I hope this kid dominates, and he looks like he can. He has all the tools in his toolbox, so I'm big on him, and I think he could even be the first defensive player taken, as you've seen today. So tell me what you guys think below. I'm LDJ11. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. I'm out.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car.